Five, four, three, two, one. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Jones Harwell, Lisa Harwell, to those that know me personally, and this is Journeys with Jones Harwell. Today, gracing the stage with me is Reshon Ellis, and before we get talking, I'm just going to read a little bit briefly of her bio. Chanel Music Entertainment LLC was created by Reshon Ellis for Urban Beats Radio 2 in March 2011. Having a passion for radio broadcasting and producing music, Miss Ellis set out to bring both her passions together by starting her own music entertainment company. Urban Beats Radio 2 is the first project under her umbrella. While pursuing this venture, Reshon ultimately desires to write and produce music for herself and new artists. Reshon, welcome to Unapologetic.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, indeed. So, we've been talking a little bit before we got live on the air.
Right.
And my cousin is telling me we got a little bit of feedback. So do you have anything on your end that's needs radio turned down, or let me see if I put on?
No, I should be good to go.
Okay.
Yep, I'm good to go.
I'm gonna see if I can put on some headphones here. I don't know if it's gonna help because I don't have anything open as well.
Right.
Or maybe I'm sitting too close. Let me see what my sound is doing here. Let me turn my sound down. Okay, I don't think I hear any. Yes, I do. It's on my end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Give me a second here, you guys.
Okay.
Let me do this. Let me turn my phone completely off.
Right.
And then maybe, because it might be the Bluetooth feedback.
Yeah.
While I'm doing that, let me go ahead and ask my first question.
Okay.
Your love of radio, how did it start?
This has been a passion since 11 years old for me. My passion for music, songwriting, and singing, that's been since 5 years old. And when I was a kid, I used to find myself trying to pretend that I was actually working in the radio station. Like, I just had a curiosity, like, what do they do? How do they do this? I would even write out announcements, like, if I was introducing someone. So this has been a passion for me since I was a child. Since 11 and 5, that's where my head has always been on. What can I do? What do you do to work in this business? That's how it all started for me. Yes.
That's wonderful. And so did you start out interning other places before you decided to go to the venture to actually becoming your own boss and building your own platform and your own station?
What happened was, at the time I was working in banking, but I was also getting ready to graduate from Mercer University at the time. So I was actually trying to get an intern at a local station here in Atlanta, but I found that the time didn't work with my work schedule, and I was like, I can't intern for them and work at the same time. So I ended up getting the intern at WRFG 89.3 at Little Five Points in Atlanta. And that's how I was able to get my experience with the entire studio setup, what goes on with the guests, setting everything up, doing everything there. And I did it for 6 years. And as I was doing it for the 6 years, I was applying, still at like the main spots, and I probably got like maybe a few interviews, but I began to test the climate at that time to really see what does it take to, get into this. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought. And I just felt like, well, if it doesn't pop here, what can I do to make sure that, all of my work, all of my time that I put into this, I don't want this to go to waste. So that's how Urban Beats Radio 2 was born. And that's why we are where we are now. And we're continuing to build pretty much.
Okay. And what is your station platform showcase?
My station platform, first, me and Mr. Anthony Wright, we host Urban Beats Radio 2. And the platform is, we have other shows and other podcasts as well that come under our umbrella. So that's pretty much our platform. The main purpose of what my goal is for what I want us to do is to showcase our platform, our talent, what we do, also showcase the platforms of the other podcasts and radio shows that are up under our umbrella. And at some point, once we get the location, I want to also open it up for people to come in to have their platforms as well once we actually have locations. So I'm trying to make this be something where people are being exposed to different new talents, probably talent that they hadn't met and seen before. I'm trying to open it up for it to be a broader, platform for everyone, pretty much.
Okay, I'm going to try going to mic here to see if I can get rid of the background sound. I don't think I hear it now. How's it? Do you hear any?
I don't hear anything. Mm-mm.
Okay, great. I think that will help. Whatever it was here on my end, I know it's been a little windy day here, so there's no telling.
Right, right,
As an IT former IT professional, any little thing can tweak.
right.
Uh,
You can hear everything.
exactly right. So I know you started Urban Beats Radio in 2011. So now this is your
Yes,
10-year anniversary.
absolutely.
Um, did you plan anything special for the year, or?
I haven't planned anything as of yet because my vision is so big right now. Right now, we're mainly focusing on the shows, getting the shows and everything out. But I haven't planned anything as of yet. And when I do, I'm really trying to roll it out the way that I really want to roll it out. And when I do, I will definitely keep you posted and would love for you guys to be a part of it as well.
Yes, indeed. I would definitely,
Yes,
because we met, we're a part of the same business group umbrella, Signature Entrepreneurs
absolutely.
and Masterminds. And one
Absolutely.
of the things that we showcase in this think tank, or that we help to try to build, and is part of your platform as well for your venture and your business, is leadership. So talk
Absolutely.
a little bit about more about that, because I know as a female and myself, and
Mhm.
journalism major in
Yes.
the background. Back in my early 20s, tried out, actually went to school to become a disc jockey. Got
Right,
through
right.
everything perfect, got my little
Yes,
tape together to go, and just did not have the belief and confidence in myself to walk through the door to do any interview. But I
exactly.
always say that things come around full circle. So
Right,
some of those experiences for other young women or other young ladies, or even men out there that are interested in getting into radio, you tell me a little bit about that leadership piece, and then you talk about all the steps that it entails and it takes, because some people think that is you just sit down in front of a mic, right? You put
right.
some headphones on and you just start talking. No, there's
Exactly.
advertising, there's
Exactly.
trying to figure out what market you're going to go towards, and an array of other things that comes with that.
Exactly. As far as the leadership piece, the part that I wanted to hit on is you have to be very disciplined in this industry. You have to be anchored. You have to be centered. You have to be focused. Meaning, there are going to be things that come up that you may not agree with if you're working in a group or if you're applying to that business, that station, whatever that may be. You have to have that leadership within yourself, meaning no matter which way this thing goes, you're still focused, you're still centered on what it is that you're after and what you're here to do. If you don't stay centered and focused on what it is that you want to do, anything can sway you. So you have to come into this thing being a leader, already knowing what you're after, so that way you won't be distracted. And nothing can deter you from what you're here to do, because then you'll lose focus and you won't follow through with your plans. So that's what is helping to build Urban Beats Radio too. I believe that God has instilled in me that leadership skill to be able to lead this thing and get this thing going, because I remain focused, and no matter what comes up or happens, I got to keep going. I can't let anything deter me from where I'm headed and what I want to
Right.
do.
Right. And I think one of the things that it gives you, because you are your own boss and you do have your own platform, you can set
Absolutely.
what it is that you exactly want and you envision your radio station to see. I know back
Exactly.
in the day, it used to be that people would have to go around and make the beats or make the
Right.
trips, to market the music, to try to keep getting it played, and call
Right.
to get it heard. And then
Absolutely.
everybody kind of went to a middle stream, or what they call middle of the road
Right.
kind of platform. So, how's that been working out for you? And do you agree with it today? Because there's so many different radio stations out there. How would you, for an audience that is new to you or trying to find you, because I know you're out of Atlanta,
Right.
so people would know how to find you.
I really don't think it's hard for them to find me. Number one, I'm in Atlanta. I use all of my social media outlets to, inform people. I'm constantly posting, letting them know what we're doing.
Mhm.
I'm posting for the shows for the other guys that actually have their platform up under my platform. So we're constantly like, posting on Instagram, Facebook. We also have a webpage, urbanbeatsradio2.com, and we're also on YouTube. And also we have up to 4,000 followers, you know, pretty much, yeah, which is great, up to 4,000 followers. So, I mean, people are constantly talking on social media. I would definitely say that's a big part of letting people know, who you are, what you're here to
Mhm.
do. So that's how people are pretty much informed. And plus my friends and family, this is all I've ever talked about when I'm around them. I'm dancing, I'm talking about radio, I'm going to the radio station, I got something playing. So they know what I'm all about. So that's how everybody's been kept abreast as to what we're doing.
So, do you have like dedicated days that you do Pacific platforms? So, like, you have a morning show, an afternoon. What is your favorite?
My favorite is I love all of it. And I do things a little bit different with Urban Beats because what I want to try to do is I want to keep it fresh. I actually like for my show, specifically my show, I don't plan my shows like every week. I try to plan them like maybe every 2 to 3 months because I want to keep it fresh. And I don't want people to get tired of what we're doing. So I try to stretch it out, give it a little time. So when I come back, I probably got about 2 or 3 shows. Then they may not hear from us for like another 3 months or so. But in that time, I'm planning then what the next thing is going to be. But for the other guys that actually have a platform on my show, they pretty much like send me all of their stuff, their material that they're getting out on a regular basis. And so I actually have them scheduled on certain days of the week. And we have all of that information out on YouTube, it's out on the website and Instagram and Facebook. If anyone wants to go out there and take a look and see what we have.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that I mention it in the chat so they can do it.
Yes,
But that's pretty
yes.
neat that you segue yourself, or
Hmm.
you set yourself apart, that you have your own platform that you're doing every couple of months, so they can
Yes,
just, you're building the anticipation in the audience to come
absolutely.
back
Right,
and listen to you. That
right.
is great. So if you had and I know we both have kids. If you had any advice that you wanted to give to, let's say, young girls out there that are
Hmm.
not thinking of radio, because a lot of times when we think about entertainment, we're thinking about, oh, a singer, we're thinking about a dancer, we're thinking about an actress, but
Hmm.
there's all sorts of avenues that you can get into to entertainment and media.
Right, right. That is true. If I could give any advice to any young girls, my advice would definitely just to stay focused. Again, like I said earlier, stay focused, know what it is that you're after, because in this industry you can be swayed, no
Hmm.
matter who it's from. So you don't let anything get in your way or throw you off of your focus of what it is that you're trying to do. Because I know that we've all heard stories of people that, started out on the right path, but then they got caught up with the wrong people, the
Hmm.
wrong man, the wrong woman, and you don't need that to mess you up. You don't need nothing to throw you off of your A game of what you're trying to get done because it won't get done. And then you'll be looking back and regret that you didn't stay focused. So definitely stay focused and stay on top of what it is that you're trying to do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And would you recommend too, them possibly finding avenues to maybe intern to see if that's something that they really are interested in, so they can see the behind the scenes of what's going on and give them an indication of what they need to work on, or what avenue would work best for them or they're interested in.
Absolutely. I would definitely say if they're in college, if there is a way where they can actually intern while they're in college, because I know a lot of us had to work and go to college, and that's what I was doing. I was working full time. And so the only time I had was on a Saturday. So WRFG 89.3, they fit perfect into my schedule at the time. So I was there every Saturday for like 6 years pretty much. But if they can actually do it to where they're not working a lot during the week, I would definitely say check any of the local stations to see if they have any intern programs where they can go ahead and get a jump on it early. So that way, when the opportunities do come, they're seasoned, they're ready to work, they're ready to hit the ground running because they know what's going on and what they got to do in their next plan of action to actually get hired. So I
Mhm.
would definitely suggest that.
Mhm. Good, good.
Yeah.
What would you say probably is one of your most difficult things of running your station?
Right now, it's not difficult because I haven't started, we haven't set up the location yet. So I'm prepared. I've already started, being nosy, trying to figure out what about this, what about that, all the main pieces of getting this whole thing being brought into the physical realm. Right now, we're just virtual. So right now in
Mhm.
virtual world, everything is easy peasy. But I know when we get ready to get that tower set up and that location set up and all these different licenses, I think that's going to be the challenge.
That's so much more than the location.
Exactly.
But
Right.
that's
Oh,
so
yes.
true.
I've already investigated. That's how I know. So I'm prepared. I'm ready for it. So that's why I'm just, I'm so focused and I already know the avenues that I got to go through. But I'm the woman for the job, I believe. I believe God destined me for this. He wired me. This is in my DNA. So I'm prepared for it. So we're gonna do what we gotta do because this has to happen.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And can't wait to
Yeah.
hear you not only in Atlanta, but because you are virtual, you can be
Right.
heard anywhere in the world as long as they got that website address.
That's
They
right.
can plug right in.
Absolutely. You're all over the place.
So,
Absolutely.
I'm seeing that this is your game plan and your goal. I would say probably for the next 3 to 5 years is what you're looking to do is
Absolutely.
to take it from a virtual environment. Would you still keep the virtual environment afterwards,
Absolutely.
or you just want?
I would still broadcast through live365.com, and I would recommend that for anyone that does want to do the actual radio piece because they actually already have the licensing for us to play the commercial music that we play. So I would definitely advise that as a great avenue to broadcast through them. So I'm going to definitely keep everything that we have virtually right now in place. That won't be changed. We'll continue to
Okay,
broadcast the way we broadcast from there.
okay. So I'm going. Oh, excuse me. Put a couple of things
Mhm.
here in the chat. The first I'm going to put is your website, which
Yes,
is Urban Beats
radio2.com.
to. Okay, why is my cap locks on? The station Urban Beats Radio 2.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did that come up right? I guess it did. And then you mentioned the partnering with the other for if they were interested in licensing to.
Yes, for Live 365. Yeah, they
Uh-huh.
already offer that. They pretty much offer that when you sign on with them. So that way you don't have to worry about the whole deal of doing the licensing because that's really a big deal when you're playing different artists' music. So you want to be covered when you're doing this. Is you got to know the rules of the game and how this business flows before you get out here and start doing stuff.
Let's say investigate and research.
Absolutely. Investigate before you invest.
A lot of times, some people think that it takes, of course,
Hmm.
you said drive and determination, but a
Yes.
lot of times people think, well, money too can also sometimes be a deterrent and a setback from people trying to go for their goals and go for their dreams and
Yes.
establish themselves. Would you have any advice on that avenue too, as well, for someone who's like wanting to do it, but afraid of that last piece or that money piece that keeps them from actually just jumping out there and just trying it.
I definitely would advise. I mean, I definitely would say this. Money is definitely a big deal. But I just believe that whatever your passion is and whatever your dream is that you're trying to, accomplish, you got to
Hmm.
start small. No one just starts fresh out the gate, all big willy nilly and everything is all how they want it. You got to start small. You got to start somewhere. So I would say gradually, just keep building. Like this has been a work in progress for a very long time for me. Money being a part of it, being a piece of it. But if this is what you're really wanting to do, you're going to take every nugget, every trinket that you get and keep adding to it. It's almost like an ant how they build. They just keep
Hmm.
building until they finally get that big old red ant pile up, until they get everything up and running. And before you know it, I just really believe that if you believe in God and you keep going forward, He's going to give you what you don't have to be able to make those things happen. I mean, I've built 2 homes, so now we're going to build a business this time. So if He allowed me to do those things, we're going to do this.
Hmm.
But you have to be, patient. It's gradual and just keep, doing what you're doing. And God also blesses you to where if you start small, if you can appreciate the small things, He's going to give you that big thing because He knows you know how to handle it. You've nurtured other things that He's giving you, so you're going to be able to handle the big stuff when He gives it to you. So it's all about patience, I would say, and timing.
I love that. I love that.
Yes,
I love that. I love that. Thank you
yes,
so much for that.
absolutely,
One of the
absolutely.
thing I know one of the things I remember from our youth, um, is we used to have, they would have that one voice that always did the call sign.
Right.
Do you have one of those for your radio station, or do you do it yourself?
I do it myself. I don't have one of those yet, but I'm sure we'll get to that. We'll get to it.
You want to plug it?
Well, we are Urban Beats Radio too, playing the best in urban music on live365.com. So,
I love that piece because it's
yes,
like I think that's probably the most coolest thing that you hear
yeah,
about the radio. When they
right,
come on and they give those call signs and then they say who they are, and
yeah,
then they introduce the next piece of music. So
right, right.
let's talk about music here for a minute because you and I both are music lovers.
Absolutely,
And I know eventually that you said you want to be able to produce and also showcase new
absolutely.
artists on your platform. So, do
Right.
you have any that you've done to date that you want to give a shameless plug for? Anybody coming up new?
Well, right now, as of right now, I don't. I actually have stuff of my own that I'm actually trying to get into works right now. But I think what's going to end up happening with myself and other artists, I'm going to end up focusing more on the songwriting piece and and the production side of everything. And so imagine I'm doing the radio piece and the producing piece. So I'm bringing all this together slowly but surely. Gradually, it's coming along.
Good,
Yes. Yeah.
good. So you just do the songwriting piece. You don't do any singing.
Yes, I do the singing as well. I do the singing as well. Yes, ma'am.
If I put you on the spot, are you gonna throw something at me? She said she
I'm
wasn't
a,
gonna ask me that.
right, exactly, exactly. I may hold off on that a little bit today.
We'll get
I'm
you
gonna
on
get you
the
next
next
time.
one. That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right. Because it's called plug, 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 plug,
That's
plug
right.
yourself.
Absolutely.
So here, I know here in the DMV, we have one public radio station
Hmm.
that is called WPFW.
Got
And
you.
what they do is they showcase a lot of the eras gone by music
Hmm.
that is not as popular and mainstream to us
Right.
today. Because,
Right.
back in the day of my grandmother's day, the music was big band, the music was jazz was just coming into play, and
Hmm.
blues. Those were the three, I think, biggest arenas coming out of the 1930s, 40s when my dad was a kid and my mom was a kid.
Right.
And then from there, they kind of started pop, this soft
Yeah.
pop. And then we went from soft pop to what now they call R&B. But
Hmm.
R&B has been the backbone, and gospel has been the backbone for every type of music genre that is out there.
Right.
So, what has hurt my heart, I think, the last couple of weeks is I'm seeing a trend again, and I'm going to knock on wood, and I hope that that's not the case.
Hmm.
And I think I'm a little bit older than you,
Yes.
so my generation of folks are leaving here like left and right.
Yeah.
It was Michael Jackson, then it was
Yeah.
Whitney Houston, then it was Prince.
Yeah.
Now within the last month, it's been Master Rob, and it's been the guy
Yeah.
from Digital Underground, and then
Right.
it's been
DMX.
DMX. It's
Hmm.
that 60s, early 60s, late
Yeah.
60s, early 70s generation. We lost Tina Marie, we lost Rick
Right.
James. So it's like, who do we have?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the scary part about it because it's like we've lost a lot of the older artists, but now we're starting to lose some of like the younger artists in my age group or whatever. And to
Hmm.
me right now, I feel like, well, my favorite artist, of course, is Chris Brown. I kind of feel like he's like the only one that's left that's like mainstream for me right now. I'm sure there's some other ones that other people may recognize with more, but for me, he's almost like that Michael Jackson person to me.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I hope he
Hmm.
has a better outcome, of course. But
Yes.
we're losing a lot of our young artists as well. And that's why I say, stay focused and stay focused on what it is that you do because there's so many things in the industry that can pull you, the industry itself, the stresses of it that come with it, the
Yes.
financial pieces that come with it. So
Hmm.
you gotta stay as focused and anchored as possible because death can happen quite
Yes.
early or earlier if you're not focused on what it is that you need to be doing or if there's
Yes.
anything that's pulling you in a different direction.
Yeah, and I think
So
the mentoring too is missing from what was
absolutely.
missing from generations of years ago, because everybody did that travel circuit together, and they were
Mhm.
traveling, and they were, staying together and working together,
Mhm.
trying to build each other up. And I think
Yeah.
that's another thing that's kind of missing from the music of today. If we think about what Motown's famous platform was for getting all of their artists known
Yeah.
across the board, they were
Mhm.
all traveling at the same time doing the
Together.
shows together. So it was like they had, they had this network, and they had this community
Yeah.
that now is sorely lacking. So
Right. Right.
one of the things that I must say, that I'm trying to figure out is the rap of today versus when
Mhm.
rap first started. Because a lot of times I'm looking at my son and I'm like, what are they saying? Because
Yeah, the genre is it's along the same lines, but it's changed tremendously. I mean, I would say the rap back in the day, it sounded different. Now it kind of
hmm
sounds like everybody sounds alike. The music kind of sounds alike, the beats sound alike, the raps, the actual voices of the rap sometimes kind of sound alike because they're using the same instrument or whatever. So it's not really set apart like before, like
It's
back in the
more,
day.
yeah. I think it's
Yeah,
more trap, and then
yeah.
it's more. We don't have that same. Because when I could remember the differences between listening to DMX
Hmm.
and then listening to Run DMC, or
Hmm.
listening to I see him in my mind and he's dancing.
Yeah. Prince, Michael Jackson. Well,
No, I'm going back to another rapper, but he was very popular because he danced all the time with his
Curtis
stuff.
Blow.
Not Curtis Blow, past Curtis Blow. He'll come to
Okay.
me as I keep thinking, but just
Okay.
the difference, because we had, okay, this is our party rap,
Right.
and then this is the message rap,
Right.
that they
Right.
was coming out with a message, and then
Hmm.
where's some of these kids now with a message? It's am I
The message
missing
has
it,
changed.
or?
The message has changed. The message has been more about like glorifying the industry, getting the
Mhm.
money, getting the women, getting the houses, getting the cars. Again, that brings me back to my core. You got to stay centered. You need to be taking this money that you're making and
Mhm.
investing it into, real estate, stocks,
Mhm.
shares, building it, because what you don't want to happen is get, so far and high up in the industry, all into it, and then when it's over, you have nothing to show for
Nothing.
it.
Yes, and now I can see, that they can see Jay-Z and they can see Nas
Right.
and they can see Master P,
Exactly.
because Master P has done a whole
That's someone to follow. That's someone to listen to. This man
yes.
he has touched everything in entertainment pretty much, and he's still a rich man. And he stays a rich man for a reason, because he is centered,
Mhm.
he's disciplined, he's focused, he understands this game very well, and he
Mhm.
understands the business. You
And I
got to
think
stay business minded.
yeah, and I think Rick Ross is starting to go that direction I'm seeing too
Absolutely.
as well. So,
Absolutely.
of course, Puff Daddy, or
Yes.
P. Diddy,
Right.
of course too. But I think a lot of
Absolutely.
them, I think it just needs to be that at some point in time, if if some of them can recognize that and latch on to it, it's not
Right.
necessarily mean that you have to follow their whole particular game plan.
Exactly.
But
Right.
if you do at least listen, and
Yes.
it
Yeah.
reminds me of someone had actually asked my son to watch uh, Clarence Avant's story.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I was just amazed when I actually sat down, and he is considered to be still the godfather
Right.
of music, that the go-to guy when you need any advice on anything. If he
Mhm.
touches you with something, then you've done something.
Right. Right. Exactly.
But it needs to be a lot more, I think, of those in the industry too, to,
Right.
just not only music wise, but as you said too, mentoring wise and leadership wise, to show you the ropes to help you, go along your way
Right.
to make those dreams come true. And it looks
Yeah.
like for you, I commend you
Thank
because you
you.
knew at an early age, hey, radio is where I want to be, and radio
Absolutely.
is where I'm going to be.
That's
And
right.
you stuck to it and kept sticking to it, and the
That's right.
drive. And I am looking forward to hearing more about Urban Beats Radio
Absolutely.
2
Absolutely.
and the platform continuing to grow outside of
Absolutely.
Atlanta, take it
Yes.
nationwide,
That's the goal.
worldwide. That's the goal.
Absolutely. That's the goal for sure.
That's the goal.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to meet with me
Thank you.
today.
Thank you so
And
much for having me.
yes, yes, we definitely will be in contact. Anything that I can do to help you in your assistance along the way to shout out, because I'm known to shout people out. I like to call myself the information catalyst. I'm
There you
going to
go.
give you the information, and what you do with it after I give it to you, oh well,
Right.
but I
There you
gave it
go.
to you.
Exactly. I agree with you
I gave it
100%.
to you. So
Absolutely.
anything I can do to help, please come back on the show once
I will.
you get closer to getting your building.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to try to be right there in the building, the party with you when it comes.
That would be
Hey,
phenomenal. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that for sure.
mhm. Have you ever
Absolutely.
thought about doing any master classes for individuals that maybe be interested in either disc jockeying or starting their new internet platform like you?
I haven't, but I'm open. I'm definitely open
Hmm.
to that possibility. Yes. Yes. And that's the one thing too, also, I'm definitely open to trying, different things, new
Mhm.
opportunities. If there's something that I'm not up on, I'm open to learn it and find out about it. So we're definitely open to it.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. So let me get all of your information again because I'm going to put
Okay.
it in the chat one more time.
Okay.
So the website for the radio station.
It's urbanbeatsradio2.com. Roman numeral 2.com.
Okay, because I think
Yes.
I put the big eyes before, so I'm
Right.
going
Yeah.
to
Roman
definitely
numeral
fix
2.
it.
That's how it works.
Website for
Yes.
the radio station
Hmm.
is Urban. Spell urban right. Urban
Yes.
Beats
It's all together.
Radio
Hmm.
2 dot
Hmm.
com.
That's right. And we're also on YouTube. You can just go out there and put in urbanbeatsradio2.com, Urban Beats Radio 2, and it'll just come up on YouTube.
Okay.
hmm And you can pull us up, Urban Beats Radio 2 on Facebook, and Reshon Ellis 22 is Instagram for Urban Beats Radio 2.
On IG you said Reshon.
Reshon Ellis 22.
Okay.
That's Instagram.
Okay.
hmm
All right. And I
Yes.
think I got you there. And Beats is with a S, right? Beats.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let me make sure I got it
Absolutely.
right.
Yes.
The other thing about being in media, because I have the podcast and I also do publishing, is my
hmm
little publishing editing piece will come up every time I'm typing something. Are you sure that's what you want to say? Yes, I'm sure that's what I
Right.
want.
Absolutely. You said exactly what you wanted to say. Right.
But it's always good because then it'll catch it when when it's something wrong. But you like
Right.
technology, you gotta love it. You gotta
Oh,
love it.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and and that brings, I guess, another question that just popped into my mind too. Where do
Mhm.
you see radio going, or where do you see media platforms going within the next 5 to 10 years?
Within the next 5 to 10 years, I mean, virtual world. Everything is virtual. I mean, I love the fact that it is virtual because it's making the possibilities so broad for everyone that wants to become a part of something like this. They
Mhm.
have this avenue to be able to do it. And it's endless because, I mean, we can broadcast in all 50 states or even in Canada right now. So there's not anywhere where no one could like not pull us up, so we're all over the place. So I would definitely say everything is going virtual. Everything is on the internet.
Mhm.
I kind of would say that's probably why, I mean, there are radio stations, but that's something for people to pay attention to as well. Look at how many people or big stars they actually have at the radio station. They're minute. They can't have that many because not a lot of people are going to get hired and get those opportunities. So that's why
Mm.
we have the platforms that we have because of that. And so we're going to extend it and make it be broader than what it is even with the regular radio stations at this point. We're going to take it to another level pretty much.
Mhm. Yeah, because
Yep.
one of the things that I've noticed, especially during I'm not going to say pandemic. I'm going to say COVID-19,
Right.
where a lot of even the big known and big name individuals pivoted and started coming out with their own Facebook platforms
Right.
and YouTube channels and things. So it does give you a wide array, and streaming does look to be to where everything is going to be
Right.
going
Absolutely.
eventually. Do you think that they will probably restrict or unrestrict some of the restrictions, or do you think the FCC will still clamp down and be the big brother?
I don't think that they'll probably do too much restricting. Especially, well, I was definitely speak for my platform because I know we pay for licensing. So there's not a
Mhm.
song that I played that's not already, compensated for playing that artist's music. Um, and as long as the companies that everyone is using is probably making money from it to be able to broadcast their platform,
Mhm.
I don't think that will be an issue because everything is already on the internet. So I don't really see how they'll probably be able to, come after it that way. As long as it's not stopping the big guys from getting what they're getting, then I don't see that being an issue. It shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, yeah, because
The only time
that
it's going to be, yeah, the only time it's going to be an issue is when you probably start putting up towers and then their listeners are coming over to listen to you. Then that's when the issue may start a little bit more.
okay, yeah, because
Yeah.
I know a lot of that when they talk about intellectual rights and intellectual properties, and then
hmm
of course, at one point in time, the FCC, you couldn't show certain things or hot topics before 10 p.m. That was called the mature
Yeah.
hour, and I think I was watching something the other day, and it blew my mind because I'm like, we have come a long way that
hmm
they actually showed a commercial on TV where
hmm
they were advertising shavers for
Mm,
your personal parts. And
right.
I thought I, I had to do I had to do a
Right.
double take because I was like, This is
Right,
on
like,
TV.
yeah,
This is during prime time. This is not after
exactly.
hours, you know? So that's it's like I said, the changes and the structure and everything that we've gone through, but it was just
Yeah.
for me, it caught me off guard because I was like, that is something,
See,
when we were younger,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I think
unheard
that's
of.
probably I think that's probably where we're safe at on the internet because the internet is kind of touch and go. If people are
Mhm,
actually going in to like listen to our content or whatever, it's like if they happen to tap into it or decide to go and investigate, then it's there. But it's not really like there in their face like the TV is. Like we know at certain times, okay, this may come on, so okay, make sure the kids aren't watching that. But with the
mhm,
internet, it's kind of like touch and go. They can
mhm,
tap in or not tap in. So I think that's where we're safe with the content that we
mhm,
put out, pretty much.
mhm. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's not it's an audio and not
Yeah,
a visual. And even with
absolutely.
streaming visual, you still have to make sure that you put the tags
Yes,
up, mature
right.
audience,
Exactly.
everything, because you could have at any point in time kids watching. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
mhm.
Right. That is
Well,
so true.
yeah, this has been great. This has been really informative. I cannot wait to
Absolutely.
have you back on the show again.
Thank you. Thank you. I would
And
love to come back.
yes, so um, when will you be back on live? I know you said you normally do it in a couple of months time frame. So can
Um,
anybody expect your next show coming up soon? Maybe June
yes, it
or
is. Yes, it is. June, the first show that I'm going to have coming up next will be with Dr. Larry White, the
ah,
chairman of SIMS, Signature Mastermind Group. We're going to be interviewing him, and I'm looking more towards the end of June.
okay.
So we're preparing for him and also the Urban Beats Radio 2 guys. We'll be back with some more interesting show topics to discuss as well. So that's what we got lined up coming up next. Yes.
And do you have a specific name for your show, your piece, or it's
We are
just
we are Urban Beats Radio 2.
everything's urban beats?
That's
Nothing's
it. No, that's it. That
we
is
gonna
it.
have to
That's
come up.
us.
No, you gotta have your own show tags. So when you come up, everybody knows, hey, it's the Reshon hour or the Ellis hour, so everybody knows, every
Well,
two
I did
months.
kind of think of something. I haven't put it out there yet. I guess this would be my little plug to kind of put it out there. I've been thinking when we have like those heavy discussions that we like to have sometimes,
Mhm.
those could be our key point shows when we really like hit on certain things that I really want to talk about. So those would be our key point shows. But when we're actually, bringing content for, artists and book authors and entertainers, it's Urban Beats Radio too.
Just everything. Okay.
Yes,
Make it keep it simple. But
that's
I'm
right.
I'm
Keep it
still
simple.
plugging. I'm still plugging for you to have your own personal tag on your
I'm
own
gonna work
person.
on that. I'm gonna work on that.
I'm gonna keep plugging you about it too. I'm gonna keep saying,
Thank
Rashawn, did
you.
you come up with
Stay
something
on
yet?
me. Right. I'm gonna do that. Stay on me. Hold me
That's right.
accountable.
All right, my dear. Thank you so
Okay.
much for joining me today. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you.
Everyone, the beautiful, the fierce Miss Rashawn Ellis,
Thank you so much.
visionary behind Urban Beats Radio 2. Check her out. She's in Atlanta, but you can listen to her from Atlanta to London to
That's right.
Nigeria to
Absolutely.
Canada.
Right.
She's on the air at Urban Beats Radio 2.com. You can find her on YouTube, Urban Beats Radio 2, Facebook, Urban Beats Radio 2, and on Instagram, Rashawn Ellis 22.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Thank you for
Thank
having me.
you. And
Certainly.
this concludes our program for today. I will see you guys Monday evening. We are going to talk to Mr. Eric Lomax of the Lomax Group. Looking forward to that conversation about Detroit, about business, about the plight of Black men, where we think we're going today, and any other jewels and tidbits he wants to drop our way. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.